Where's Novak? Start video, Chris. Hello. Where's Mr. Novak? Should be here shortly. Here's Mr. Frank, where are you? Oh, I've got the speaker in. Oh my gosh. Ugh.
I'm right by the Arlington. I'm 5 minutes away, something like that.
Okay, well, come on up the hill. You know where it is. And when you come to the end of that driveway, you'll see my car and the garage door's open. Come on in.
So let me confirm here. I'm going to go up 5th Street. I'm going to take a left. I'm going to get top. I'm going to go up 5th Street. I'm going to get to top. It's going to plateau out.
Yep.
And I'm going to see construction site on the left. I'm going to take a left and, just there and go down to the end of that little jaunt, and I'll find you.
There you go.
Really cool seeing you.
Okay.
Peace.
Yep. Well, folks, going to return to this now. I'm waiting for Mr. Novak, but Frank Giese is coming, and that'll be interesting. So I guess Frank and I will probably just kind of sit next to each other here at this table, and we'll move this a little bit so that we're on the Zoom call recorded, just talking about what we're seeing at the Liquor Control Board and everything. But I'll let Frank introduce himself to you when he arrives. But yeah, well then I'll let him do that. But let's just say that he's a person who is not unknown. Frank, what are you doing? Frankie baby, what are you doing?
Hey Chris, sorry about that, man. Is Daisy welcome up there? Should I leave her in the car?
Oh no, Daisy's cool here.
Okay, cool. See you too.
Okay. He's got a doggy too. And it's hot outside. Can't be leaving that doggy in the car. Oh no. So yeah, if we put this over here. Yeah, I just got a notice from Facebook saying he says, you can't tag people right. We're restricting your ability to do that. Really, dude? Like that's up to you and not the people that I'm tagging? Like who the fuck are you, Facebook, to tell me that I'm not tagging right when if my friends don't want to be tagged, they tell me, and sometimes they do. And then guess what? Then I don't tag them. Boom! Just like this, they just walking behind you, just like, oh my God, they're just, it's a horrible entity. And Congress was supposed to be doing something about all this and all their power and shit. They're all full of shit. Nobody's doing anything. Nobody's doing a damn thing. Here's Novak. Hello, John. Hey, brother. Can you hear me? This is a weird day. John? John? Fuck is going on today, man? You there?
video. Let's see. What will we do here?
What's happening?
There we go.
Can you hear me?
Yep. Can you hear me?
Now I can. All right. Gosh, man, it's kind of a weird day. Frank is on his way. I just got scolded by Facebook, man. Get this, okay? Yeah, I'm sure sometimes I do over tag, whatever, but you know what? That's between the people that I tag and me, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I got a notice from Facebook just now. Come talk about you don't know how to tag right. Therefore, we've restricted your ability to do that temporarily. I'm like, who the fuck are you?
Yeah,
You know,
really.
it's so wild, dude. If you got a complaint, if somebody, people have told me not to tag them and stuff, and I'm like, okay, cool. Or on a certain issue, they say don't tag, and I'm like, that's fine, I'll take you off the tag. That's not for Facebook to follow me behind my black ass and tell me who I can and can't tag. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And then they had all this
going.
stuff. What's that?
So that's the way it's going. They fuck with activists.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
People think that it's, oh, they're just attacking the left, or oh, they're just attacking the right. Well, they're going after both.
No. They're going in
after each. Not the people who are in the middle, but the ones who just casually go about their day and don't really get into politics or anything like that.
Yeah, right. They're safe, but if you're
boundaries.
Because I would say I'm definitely kind of a centrist, man. I don't really, I hate them both major parties. So,
I find myself in a centrist sense of, I think a more populist, or not even populist, kind of has a bad connotation these days, but.
Oh, right.
And I know that the Constitution is always up for debate, especially these days, but I find myself going back to even the old white guys themselves. They said, hey, it's a more perfect union. We know that we got slavery, but we're passing that down to our kids to take care of.
So, yeah.
And I don't know which system is better at this point. So I guess I call myself a left-leaning constitutional populist.
I hear you. This got to reply to Breon real quick. He's starting his show up tonight. So, Knights of the Square Table.
So let me see. I need to pull up text. So are we on Facebook at all now?
Yes, we're on Facebook now. Yeah, they just restricted my shit. They said I couldn't tag anybody. So even though I'm sitting here with you, I guess they said I probably couldn't tag you. So they might not. You might not be tagged in the post. Woo!
Well, I saw. That's how I got to the link for this one. So I must have been one of your last tags before they flagged you.
Just verboten.
All right. So let me give my quick update.
Okay, hold on one second. Let me look outside and see if Frank is making his way up, because he just called a second ago and he's never been here before. So he may be just trying to creep up the driveway, folks. So let me check on him and I'll be right back to you, Mr. Novak.
Disabled the share screen again. Could have been entertaining, y'all. Oh well.
All right, Frank. right, man. This is gonna be a good show. He's here. And he has to go park on the street right now, so he's coming in now, and it's gonna be all good. I saw he's got one of those mini black Hummers, and I was like, like some government operative, which he was. All right, Pepper, Daisy's coming. All right, contain yourself. All right, so you can line up while he's coming up the driveway. You can start telling us that Weedwraps number 9 with John Novak, and our special guest this week is our expert witness by the name of Frank Giese, who is well known to the LCB. We'll get to that momentarily. Anyway, John, go right ahead.
So a couple episodes back, we talked about how the LCB has been leaking out all of the information on the cooperative gardens, and I got a little more information on that. So one of a co-researcher named Jim McCrae has apparently been asking for the the data from the monthly .csv files that come from Leaf and provided by the Liquor Control Board in response to different public records requests. So if anybody was asking for those, then up until just recently, they were getting provided to anybody who asked, with all the cooperative names and addresses, and I think phone numbers and anything that was in the traceability system for those cooperatives. And it's by law, they're not supposed to be doing that. And so let's see, 2016, summer of 2016 is when that law was implemented, creating the cooperative gardens.
Right.
And so that's 5 years that these cooperatives have had their information leaked. And as of today, not seeing anything at this point to tell me that they have actually contacted anybody that has had their information leaked.
Right. So you're saying that if anybody asked, or public records request, if anybody asked for information about cooperative gardens, then they were
not even that. It was just asking for the LEAF or LEAF traceability system. The Liquor Control Board would publish monthly data.
Oh yeah, the LEAF is a traceability, right? So anybody who asked for any of that,
right?
So, oh my goodness,
yeah. So he didn't even realize that he was getting the cooperative information until he saw it, and it shocked the hell out of him, horrified him. So he tried contacting Jane Rushford, who was the chair of the LCB first, and then after the next chair came on board, David Postman. He emailed him a bunch, and I've got those emails to back that up now.
Oh wow! Oh wow! Now I get. Yes, man. I need to supplement the record tonight with that example of continued malfeasance and harm to medical end users because of that. And it's exactly what Dante was saying.
Yes.
Wow.
So I'll get the emails to Jane Rushford here in about 10 days. So
okay.
Bravo to Jim for making this information, to taking it right to their doorstep, and to the chair of the boards, and gave it to him. But I'm at least a year or so. It seems like a year went by since when did Jane Rushford leave?
It's like a year. Yeah, right. Hold on a second. We're gonna get settled in. Come on in, brother. Pepper, it's Uncle Frank. You know Uncle Frank and Daisy. Yeah, Pepper loves Daisy. Daisy loves me. It's funny.
Yeah, and it's like, oh hell yeah,
it's Uncle Chris. Yeah, come on in, folks. We're gonna get you situated. Let me introduce this man right here. Well, you can introduce your damn self, man. Right here.
My name's Frank.
Hey, Frank.
How's it going?
John Novak here.
Good to meet you, John. Yeah, I'm a
420 Leagues is John.
Oh, hi, John. Worked for some different folks, growing a little bit of cannabis, growing 1 or 2 plants in my life. So that's kind of what I do.
He's pretty modest about it right now. We'll get him situated and we'll have him go through his dossier in a minute. But first, tell him what you were just sharing with us real briefly. Basically, there's been a flaw in the system for a long time, and I explained to you the two bases of our lawsuit was the fake cops angle and the 14th Amendment violation for medical end users. So what we just found out additionally, this has been going on for a while, for the last 5 years, the information, if anybody requested information from Leaf, which is their traceability system, if they requested information, they would also get the private information on the medical users and the farms.
Which was bullshit. Yeah. And same with BioTrack when that was in play. That's when I had a tier 3 in this state. Excuse my French here, long fucking story that we just ended in hell. You know, this state, the day we voted this in, was the stupidest law ever. You know, from a fiscal standpoint, because it's the only state I'm aware of, and I've worked in a couple states in a couple countries.
Yeah.
The only fucking state where you have to build it and then they license it. And how that affected us was, you know, look this shit up down in Port of Willapa, built out, we stepped in there, cut a contract with the port, you know, port going belly up, leased out a bunch of land. A lot of it was done by of course, the U.S. federal government, Army Corps of Engineers. As in most ports, they come and backfill in, they take wetlands and whatnot back in the day, destroy them and build usable lands, you know, commercial interest land. So we went through the whole lease process. We go through that, round up some investors, a big group of guys up here, you know, 5, 6 tier 3 licenses. And I know we're not supposed to say this shit, but, you know, vertically integrated the way it should be. We had a retail and everything involved. And got shut down after everything was built by the Army Corps of Engineers doink, who happened to live in that city. His daddy backfilled it. He didn't like marijuana. So after we built all this shit,
you had no license to operate it.
Because you don't get your license until it's built. Now you talk about the dumbest shit ever. You try to get any solid investment group involved and they laugh. They hysterically laugh. I was very fortunate with my little group. I shouldn't say the name of it for legal purposes. My attorney's not here, and he's usually standing right beside me and kicks me in the ass when I start to use names. And he's sick today, so I might have to head out of here. If my phone rings, I'm gonna have to go take care of him. He's not doing well. Glorious man though. Anywho, it's just ridiculous, you know. So we go through the whole hooplas there. We move to another city, go through all the city planning. I don't know if you guys have been through this kind of shit, but go through all the city planning, council meetings, We finally get
impact hearings, all this stuff.
We're Satan incarnate because we grow weed. Nobody stops to look and see that, oh, this is the man who actually brought CBD to the world. Not a hint of that, you know. And I have some of the top people in the world. My CFO does most of my speaking at that time. Her name is Tausha. She's a glorious woman, beautiful. She was the head of Bosnia, UNICEF in Bosnia before she came to work with me. I mean, top caliber people doing what we should do, loving on communities, putting social programs in place. And unfortunately, the police chief of that little city, he passed away from cancer. I got to work with him a few months before he passed. I didn't get to him in time, unfortunately. And it wasn't a week after he passed, of course, the flavor of the town changed. And we got an eviction notice from the city. Basically, need to bring in another $2 million to do upgrades to the property to bring it up to fire code, which is fucking, I mean, if you knew the property, you'd be like, really? Are you, you know, so anyway, they ran us out of town. So
you got more. He's got more too. He's really not. He doesn't toot his own horn. But I got to bring it out of him. But so one thing we talked about a few minutes ago, or actually yesterday, was talking about the notion that cannabis is overtaken alcohol as the number one revenue generator.
Yeah, last year alone, I was just reading that. You know, these little blips stay in my head. Something online. I think it was Times or it was one of the Seattle rags. Was reporting that in last year, 21 or in 20. No, it was 19. It was 19 where they reported the numbers from. $27 million more than the alcohol industry does. And the bullshit of that, if you've been in anybody growing, anybody working in a pot shop, anything like that, excuse my language again, you're getting fucked. You get fucked in the front end, you get fucked in the back end. Okay, I don't know, a couple hundred years ago, some people went through the same kind of shit with another plant, and you know what that resulted in? The birth of this fucking nation.
Oh,
right?
yeah, right.
Taxation without representation is exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah, yes, we are.
The freaking tea.
Yeah, and they
just change it.
They treat cannabis people like we're second and third class citizens.
Not only that, but you grow cannabis, even hemp. And I work for a global hemp. Oh shit. Excuse me, can we edit that out? I work for a company that is internationally involved in hemp production. How
That's
about that?
That's fine.
Fine, good enough with that.
Yep.
Even with that standing hemp, I cannot open a bank account. I have to use cash I have no bank account. I can't. It's illegal for me to open a bank account. Despite owning 976 houses, I can't qualify for a home loan. None of my growers can. None of the people working, the 157 employees, and I can't name the county or whatever, largest employer in the freaking county, and they can't qualify for a bank loan because of who they work for.
That's
Taxation without fucking representation. It's bullshit.
Mhm.
So we're getting on both ends. So, I'm not here to incite any kind of riot, none whatsoever. I'm just saying history has a way of repeating itself.
Right.
And I cannot wait to see the glory that God uses in all this for this nation. Because I know I just got, and sorry, I'm tooting my own stuff here.
No, I'm about to ask you.
But
Listen,
I just got run off, and this is the fourth time this has happened to me in the last year. I just got run off some property in this little town we're in here because of what I do for a living. Now I'm a pastor too. Despite my language, I love my Lord deeply. Oh, deeply, I love him. Another man that I pastored with for several years. They find out and I'm open about what I do. I don't hide from nobody. I'm proud of what I do, man. I brought CBD to this world. I've helped millions, if not billions of people by now. I've seen cancers cured, epilepsies, everything. And they have the balls to tell me that what I do is wrong. And because of what I do and the way I look and the way I speak.
What happened here? Just now at the lot?
No, not that's why I'm at the lot.
Oh, at the park.
I was up at some friend's house, 20 acres here in town.
Oh, I see.
Pastor that I worked with.
Yeah.
And I don't want to give no names or anything, but so that's another civil suit that we need to kick up because I'm not the only one. And this has happened 4 different times to me in the last year alone. It's because of the way I look and what I do for a living.
Right. Never mind your background. And folks, by the way, we're doing this a little bit backwards because, I hate to do this to you, Frank, but you don't talk about all the private stuff coming up, but the stuff you did as a professional, we got to get that on the record. Just 1 second though. So, so the interview is a little bit backwards that way, folks, but don't worry, stick with us. By the way, I have some CBD product right now that I'm smoking on, and it's delicious.
Oh, that's the glory. That's OYA.
Yeah.
That's on your ass. There's 22 years of production. I'll tell the real brief story on this real quick. I got the original seeds from that. I used to be a dope dealer way back in the day. A street kid, 12 years old, 13 years old, slinging brickweed. Doobies from a frisbee. I don't know if anybody's that
Doobies from a frisbee, right.
Yeah. Doobies for a buck.
We're all 50 something. Yep.
So I hit up my old buddy that I used to hook up with. He says, "Yeah, meet me down the same place," because I was looking for some of that old ragweed. I did some research. I had a buddy that he was a pastor at the church I was working with, worship leader. His kiddo had epilepsy, stupid bad, beautiful kid, 21 years old. He's breaking bones at this point. So bad of epilepsy. I don't smoke weed. God's funny work in my life. I actually started a group called Marijuana Anonymous. Been in AA for many a year.
Because you can't get addicted to pot. You can, or psychologically.
Yeah, you can get addicted to anything. I mean, shit, I saw some titties earlier that I could have got addicted to.
Oh, they're going to watch my mouth now, right? Okay.
So anyways, I got a kilo of brickweed from, we'll leave his name out of it, gentleman, and I busted open, got about 1,000 seeds, cracked all those down, and came up with 8 plants that looked a little funky, a little different. Being a biologist, I worked for a state up here. It rhymes with Squashington. I was a biologist for them for many a year.
Yeah, we're getting into that now. So yeah, can you explain to us where you were a biologist, what department, what division that was?
I worked for Fish and Wildlife. Actually, I'm so old. I worked for fisheries. I worked for wildlife.
Mm-hmm.
Then I worked also for fisheries, and then I worked for fish and wildlife for many a year, like damn near 30 years.
Right. So you understand the nuances between who's got what type of certified peace officer capabilities.
Oh, totally. Yes. Because we were actually part of the state patrol, and everybody in there in that agency is a certified enforcement officer, except for some of the rare people like me who are field agents. I have a biology degree. They brought me in because I know how to run boats and shit badass. And I'm probably one of the, not toot my horn, but I'm probably one of the best fishermen in the world. I've been told that by many people, and they pay me stupid money to take them fly fishing all over the world. But anyway, that's why they hired me in, because I can fly in a helicopter, I can look down, going, at 200 feet over a river, and I can count fish. I can tell you there's 500 salmon there, there's 200 steelhead, there's, however many dolly barred and whatever it is, up to, thousands. And so I use my numbers to set commercial fishing quotas, which is big to-doozies. You're talking $1 billion industry here. Big to-doozies. They use my empirical evidence from observation, from aerial flights, from ground surveys, et cetera. Never once was questioned. The only time it was questioned was one of my first flights. My boss, who was training me at the time, wanted to go up and check numbers with me. We came up with we flew the Green River, the Skycomish River, and the Skagit River, and we came up within about 2% of each other's numbers. And this man been doing it for years and years and years. He's now passed away, so I use his name. His name was Steve Foley. He was a hell of a good man.
Mhm.
And Steve, he made the comment to me, he goes, damn, I've never seen anybody with eyes like that. And my other boss who brought me on, his name is Kurt. I think he's still alive, so I'm going to leave his last name out of it. But Kurt, two of the three best fishermen I've ever known. Grandpa was the best. These two guys were badass. And for them to give a compliment to a little kiddo, and they threw me out actually the next day, said, hey, you want to come work with me? I said, oh shit, man, funsies. Hop in the front of a drift boat and I go down the Walsh River. And Kurt says, hey, Kel, what's up in front of you? And I told him, hey, well, there's a Chinook there. The only thing at the end of the day, he says, well, you missed a couple of cutthroat, which are these little trout. And I said, well, shit, what do you expect, man?
Oh, wow.
You know?
Yes, let me ask you,
So anyways.
let me ask you this, though.
Yeah.
So after you did that, then you also had some interchange with the direct defendant in our case, the Liquor and Cannabis Board.
Mm-hmm.
Now, tell me about that.
Oh, gosh, what do you want to know about that?
Just give us an overview of what you, because you're going to be,
So here's the funny
everyone wants to know.
thing with,
You're going to be a regular on the show, so start with the overview of what you did with them.
yeah,
And,
is there any possibility we could fire up a little bit of that?
I'm about to do, no, we're smoking
This
right now.
brother I was helping a garden out all last night, remote. They're done screwing the pooch to the tune of, I don't know, 500 or so a month, which is kind of amazing. A man can lose 500 grand growing weed in a big indoor facility. Anyhow, the state, whatever it is that rhymes with Squashington, it's liquor and cannabis enforcement agents are all, at least the ones I met, and I met quite a few of them.
Mhm.
And I think one that's involved in this case even, and I don't want to use her name because she's a good person.
Mhm.
I really respect her. She was very fair during my licensing process.
Yes.
Didn't treat me with any bias one way or the other,
Okay.
which was great.
She was professional.
She was
What a
very
concept.
professional about it.
Yeah.
She brought a checklist. She knew me,
Mhm.
and she's addressed me by my first name, and she got right to business.
Yeah.
Which was good. That's what I wanted to see. Everybody in that agency that I met, and quite a few of them, because I've been down to Olympia, a town that rhymes with Skull Olympia. So,
Olympia.
many a time, and I walk in the same front door. I go to see the director when I go to see him when I'm working for an agency that runs with Squish and Wildlife, and it's the same enforcement officers driving the same freaking rigs, even same, still tittied out from being up in the woods with me.
Mhm.
And I'm like, well, shit, it's the same. But then how the hell are you doing this? Because you guys aren't authorized to do this. This is an enforcement agency. You're not state patrol. You're not licensed through them. There's no possible way that you can enforce this law. You're not given the right to do that by statute of this law. That's why that law sucked. Taxes us up the ass at 28%, bends us over, and then it gives authority to people that don't have the rightful authority to it.
Because they swept over, they went to limited enforcement agency.
Exactly.
Right, exactly. And he gets it. I mean, we all get it. The question is, what is the court going to do with it? And it's all black and white.
Oh, that is so good. 22 years of breeding.
That is really tasty. It's really good.
Isn't it? Yeah, from Matthew. The first series we got was called CBD1. I came out with eight little plants, grew them up. And I'm not the world's best grower, but some people think I am. The best I could do, and I had a good shop down in Seattle, one of the first shops with another really awesome gentleman, Jeremy Hickling. I hope he's around. I hope he sees this. Brother, I miss you. You're a badass. A good Christian man. Open Collective Health, which was all about CBD, getting CBD out, because we saw the results it had with Matthew, 67 seizures to 1. Brother was cured. Daisy.
Yeah, I love Daisy.
He's still in a wheelchair. He still has epilepsy, but the seizures went from 67 to 1. Right, being a biologist, being a scientist, I replicated my study. Some folks that I know in California reached out that had a child in Boston, a relative in Boston. Same thing. This kid was 10 years old, and we went from the same 72 seizures at Boston General down to 2. So CBD was born in my life, and then I took this what I call shaggy cat's ass, because that's the best I could grow at 2% CBD. And started breeding it and breeding it and breeding it. Right, same time, a gentleman named Jeff down in California. Never met him. I understand he's a good man. He was working on a strain called Harlequin, and he developed that. It's an outdoor strain based off an autoflower. Mine's an indoor based off of Colombian Red. So,
And it's quite good.
and that's, 22 years now. We're at CBD 10, which is the 10th generation, stabilized and all that. And I'm growing some field crops. I did some work for some folks where, Oregon down in the SIO area. I selected that for a large test plot of 35 acres for the several thousand acres they wanted to put in because it had the only drying facilities in the area for fescue grass. And that was the only thing that could come close to matching what we need to preserve the terpenes in the cannabis, because you're all going for the CBD extraction thing. So that's how that all kind of came to be. Haven't heard anything about Jeff and the Harlequin series other than that, kind of hit the mainstream. A lot of people seem to like it. I can't say nothing good or bad about the man. I've never met him. I like smoking his weed though.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah, and so folks, now that we have a little bit of a background in terms of where Frank comes from and where he's been and why he's the best expert witness we could possibly have, I'll tell you how we met. So, I'm very spiritual, whereas Frank is, I would say spiritual, I wouldn't call you religious, but you believe in a certain deity, certain God, whereas I'm more indirect. But I believe in a higher power or a series of higher powers. Some force is guiding us on this journey, folks. And so the way and the reason that we met is that I had a somewhat obscure dirt bike out that there are very few of them left anymore. And I was ripping around town.
Shredding it, bro. You look glorious.
Glorious,
glorious, man.
And
beautiful. If I swung that way, I told him if I swung that way, I'd be hitting on you, brother.
Well,
hey.
We'll talk about that later.
Yeah. For all those who do, no offense, but I don't.
But I am a good-looking man. Anyway, so I keep telling myself that, and sometimes I'll make a woman believe it. That's the key. So anyway, what happened was
after you scoop that little
Are you about to say something? Don't say anything inappropriate about what.
No, you scooped that Russian chick out from under my nose.
She was not even.
I hit her up and she doesn't even give me the time of day.
She was not
even talk to me. The brother rolls up looking all slick. And she's all, yeah, you know it. See, that's it too. No, bullshit. Don't be.
She was thumping a Bible in my face. She would have no parts of this Negro. Anyway, so I pull up. And I look up and I see a Bronco, and I don't mean a bullshit newer Bronco or the OJ Bronco. I see a real Bronco. You know what I mean?
68 Windsor.
With a Windsor. Is it really?
Oh shit, yeah. Match and tag.
So yeah.
Sounds good to me.
But behind the Bronco is a boat, which I would describe as a small trawler.
Yeah.
It's a small trawler.
It's a half-size replica of the steel Union Jack that I'm hoping to pick. I got in Montana that hopefully I can get over there and finish paying off and get that bed. Yeah.
So it's a bite-sized trawler.
Fuck yeah.
And I look up and I see this shit. I'm like, huh. And I was in no kind of mood to talk to anybody, to tell you the truth.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, I parked well away from it and went to take a picture of my bike in front of it because there was like these three rustic things, these three ancient things that were just somewhat juxtaposed, but they fit perfectly together. So I go to take the picture and I'm trying to creep out of there without anybody noticing. And then I see this guy in the back stretching. He's like, hey, brother man, how you doing over there? And I'm like, oh,
shit, man.
And then we started talking, and I don't even know how the subject of weed came up, but it came up, and then I'm like,
do you want some weed?
And I said, yeah, I'm one of the guys that's busy suing the liquor cannabis board. And he's like, you and everybody else, they're horrible. And I'm like, well, how do you know?
That's all world God has. Huh? My God, it's so good. It brings me right where I need. So I'm up here. I got a grandkiddo just a couple miles from here. Yeah, baby, cool shit ever. Raising kiddos is God's one and only true thing that's real in this world.
Well, all the rest of us settle for dogs.
All of us rust and dust, man. And rust and dust.
Yeah.
And them kiddos. And now I got a grandkiddo. Boom, cool shit ever. And so I'm up here I'm a fishing, hunting fool.
Yeah.
I built this boat last year.
Yeah.
It's a river camper. So I can go out on the river and catch a bunch of fish and shoot some bears. So I was down at the boat ramp, scoping it out, going, oh shit, okay, I'm about ready. I'm gonna drop this bitch in. And then this glorious man rolls by and I said, damn, I'm gonna smoke some weed with him. And next thing you know, here he is.
Yeah, and here we are. And so, like I said, there's no reason that we don't need to get his declaration in yet because we're still dealing with this motion. And we want to have everything before us before he writes a declaration anyway. So that's gonna come, down the line. But they know he's here. And I'm sure that, you know, I know they know not to watch. They know not to sign in and watch this, but I know they go on Facebook and watch this.
Oh, shit.
You know,
I
and
will
so like,
promise you.
all
Just
you
for my
LCD
cell phone, I have to ditch my cell phone about once a freaking week because they get so plugged up with people fucking bugging them. In fact, I was talking with my attorney down in Seattle, and he says, "Shit, Frank, can you just please go to anybody else's phone? I'm hearing so many clicks on this." I'm like, "Yeah." And so I throw the fucker out the window going down I-5. It's fucking ridiculous. I'm like, "You guys want to crawl up my ass and take some pictures, man? Get a medical degree, you know, in proctology." Holy crap, you know? So yeah, I just got accepted in medical school a few days ago. So I was thinking about that.
There you go.
Become a proctologist, and I could become an enforcement agent,
Or,
or like the DEA or
proctologist,
FBI.
judge,
Yeah,
same thing,
same
right?
fucking
Right.
thing. Yeah. Anyways.
And he's wearing the stripes, folks.
Oh baby, yeah.
Turn that way,
yeah,
turn it.
yeah.
You can see the stripes.
Oh hell yeah.
Adidas, my Adidas. Remember that one? We'll take you back a few years.
Okay, and I don't know who this is all seeing, but this is my dog Daisy. Okay, I had another Jack Russell like her for 22 years that passed away recently, and she had epilepsy, stupid bad. And I found a really cool way to administer cannabis to pets. So I'm asking, please, anybody's got pets, don't blow it in their face, man.
Yeah.
That's cruel. Okay.
Right.
If I was laying down or someone's holding me and somebody started blowing shit in my face, I'd be like, fuck, get away from me with that. So I'm gonna show you real quick here. This is my PETA shout out, because PETA's awesome. And the gal who had, I understand she had a cat that got cured by some of my stuff, and I hope it helped you. And anybody watching, please watch this. Okay, good. And I blow it into her fur. And I give her some lovin's. Yeah, little Miss Daisy.
Oh, we love you,
And it
Daisy.
settles down. And I throw one activity around, she start pawing at me. Please give me more, please give me more. And that's it. If she wants more, she'll paw. If she don't, then I leave it alone. So that's simple.
There you go.
Cool. Thank you. Shout out to PETA.
Yep. And yeah, John, you got any closing comments? We had a pretty good show, man. You got to meet a new friend and
Yeah,
and partner, and yeah, what else you got, man?
that's about it. Really, I don't know what else we can throw at these guys.
I know.
So no,
He doesn't know what we should screw him on, but you know, that's a whole nother story.
You got, oh my God, dog city.
And pandemonium breaks out in the studio.
yeah, I got to bring my dog next. I've been here next time.
Yeah, 3 dog night is what we need over here, man.
It's all good, dude. Yeah, so we're good, folks. And we should talk about that. We never discuss strategy in front of everybody anyway, so
Yeah.
we're good.
So I want to throw out a quick, hey, just real quick. We're trying to get church fired up here in the Arlington area. Daisy, please stop. Church 420. Hit us up. We're getting our website up. It's frank.fish, not .com or .org or any of that shit. It's .fish because everybody in Frank Fish. Church for me doesn't look like preaching up the front. You want to listen to some shit. There's a bunch of podcasts and crap on that. And you can go fucking listen to anybody yak about the Bible. Or any one of the other spiritual books. I studied the Toran and when I went to school. I went to one of them seminaries down in Seattle. Rhymes with Bars Hill. So anywho, church to me looks like loving on people. We get together. We're trying to buy a building here in town, an old laundromat, so we can start housing these poor homeless girls and guys. You know, that's how one of the things Chris and I have in common. We know one of the poor girls out here.
Should we tell them like what they're gonna do yet? No, or no, we shouldn't make that public.
Let's go for it, man.
Yeah, they're gonna grow hemp.
We're trying to grow hemp in their big greenhouses inside the city limits, because that's legal as long as it's not within a mile of a pot grow.
Yeah, there's no pot grows around here.
Yeah.
I'm calling all my guys who work for the dispense
But more than that, more than what the products it would produce, that being amongst many, it's about loving on these people. Because I went down there, you know, scouting up for some bears. So I'm usually up at night, you know, looking for them where the little black critters are running around. I count at least 20, and I still always bring weed with me and food with me and whatnot. At least 20 of them poor little kiddos. I mean, like my kiddos' ages. Pissed me the fuck off. Excuse me here again. Pissed me the fuck off. 20 of them running around this poor little town, being ignored, out there hungry and cold. And it's bullshit. All these resources around to house them and feed them, and people ignoring them. The poor one little girl there, I know she's not even on heroin or anything. I've been around the girl for what, 3 or 4 days now?
Yeah, I know you're talking about.
She ain't even doing no heroin, no nothing. I know this because I help people get off heroin all the time with CBD.
Yeah.
And methamphetamine and crystal. All the time. It's a glorious way to do it. This poor little girl been around town 2 years and nobody loving on her whatsoever. They just ignoring her. And I finally run across her. Some guy's trying to get him to suck, you know what?
Yeah.
For a cheesy burger.
Yeah.
Holy shitskers, man. Yeah, I baptized him in the old fashioned way. What can I say? Sorry, but I laid some hands on the man. Inappropriate, man. You'll talk to a little girl that way. So,
right,
no,
especially when you clearly see that she's not all there.
Yeah,
I mean,
this
God,
is a dysfunctional girl with a speech impediment, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Pissed, and it takes everything in the world to piss me off, and it pissed me off to the point where I'm like, we're doing something about this. So we're trying to round up enough people here to get this little laundromat going and get some housing and whatnot, so we can actually start doing some real loving on people. So that's what I'm up to. Please, as we get going, hit us up at Frank.Fisher. This florist, man, he's so much better at this kind of stuff than I don't know any of this video stuff or techie stuff. Like, I don't know. I got a flip phone. This is asking.
Yeah, I love the
fucking flip phone, right? I'm that bad at it, man.
Flip phones
Even
are
the
the
flip
best,
phone,
though.
I'm like,
Listen.
I keep reaching and going, is that my flip phone or my pecker? I'm not quite sure because it's going to be ringing any minute.
The flip phone was the best, though, guys. Even when you were done with the conversation back then, your ass was done. It was like, oh yeah, pow, bap. You shooting me through, man. I can't even do it with the one.
That's the only thing I can do. I'm very techy. And so Chris has been brought into my life because I know he's very good at this, and I do thank you for letting me be here with you guys today. Love, peace.
Oh, hey, we got some breaking news today.
Huh?
Let's see here. Chuck Schumer and the Senate Democrats have unveiled a proposal to federally decriminalize marijuana.
Oh boy.
Oh, yeah. Here we
Well,
go
you know
again.
what? If it's gonna
They
call,
would, it says here, let me see,
that
they would,
the Facebook reformation is going, we're not gonna worry about it.
yeah, so, but
Yep.
the bill would strike it from the controlled substances list.
So I'll leave with one last quote. I know everybody probably knows Sammy Hagar. I wish I could meet the man someday. He's beautiful. Awesome rocker. Used to be with a man named Montrose way back in the day, a band called Montrose. Heard an interview with Sammy after they broke up about a year later, and the interviewer on KISW asked him, well, you know, I listened to that new Montrose record. It sounded pretty good. And Ronnie said he's pretty motivated now. And Sammy said, yeah, if I was broke, I'd be motivated too. Doesn't sound like our government here, huh? They start stressing on money, and all of a sudden shit like North Bonneville comes to play, you know? Oh hell, you know, the pot shop ain't so bad. Maybe we should open a pot shop of our own, make some money.
Right.
So
Make sure we kick out all the blacks first.
Yeah, exactly. So federal government do the same thing, dragging their feet till, you know, all the people go, okay. One of the things we're working on with this church here is a housing program. It's not for the homeless. This is for all the people like Chris here. This gentleman over here, probably you, probably me, you know, all my gardeners, everybody making that, you know, close to minimum wage. I know in this area here, this city of Seattle, I'm in the greater Seattle area, $670,000 fucking dollars to buy a house. The average Cracker Jack house now, $670,000. Do a little basic math. Yeah, even back, it's insane. It is. So if you're working at any support industry, that means 7-Eleven, Mickey D's, you know, making any kind of cheesy burger anywhere, you have to work 98 hours a week, per week.
To buy that house.
To qualify the 28%. That's, you know, banks, you know, 20% of your
you gotta
gross
have
income.
you gotta have two people, you and your spouse or your significant other, partner or whatever. Look, two people going full tilt.
No, and not even that. It's
buy
not
their house.
enough, man.
It's
still not enough.
It's still not quite enough. And working overtime.
And then the big one, like I said a while ago, is the kiddos, because that's the only real and true thing in this world are those kiddos, you know, our children. What about these families who have to now work 98 freaking hours a week to have a house? What about their family? You know, they abandon their kids to give them a house. And I see it over and over and over, and it's bullshit. So what I'm working on is I used to buy houses on foreclosure with a group out of, they're defunct now, out of Monroe, a real estate company. And we would go in and we would basically save people's houses going into foreclosure. It was a good program, but it was missing something. You know, I kept knowing that. God kept speaking, this is good. It's a good start, but it's not quite what I have. I'm in the hospital sicker than a dog. And I know that I'm sicker than a dog because my dog was sick too. And I was sicker than her. Okay. So that's when you know you're sicker than a dog. And I'm praying and this stuff keeps coming to me. And God keeps saying, hey man, you know what I do with fish? And, you know, biblical shit here, not to get too religious on everybody, but God takes a fish. You know, Jesus down here, if you got a bunch of people hanging out, having a concert or whatever the hell they're doing, yeah, they was worshiping or some shit like that. And they're hungry, man. They've been out in the desert and, you know, it's like being out in the woods out here. Everybody's hungry and whatnot. Somebody says, hey, I got a fish. And the man says, bring it up to me, man. I'll tell you what I can do. Show it. It's not me. It's him. It's all about him. It's what he can do. Watch this. We take this one fish and this one loaf. Hey, by the way, go get me like 12 big baskets. I'm sure everybody's going, what's this man smoking crack? Go get baskets for what? So he says, bust that open. And I saying, hey, share, man. Even if you got a little tiny bit, you share with everybody. So he busts it open, he shares with everybody. What happens, man? Next thing, everybody got enough to eat, right? Same thing with housing. That's what he's sharing with me. He has a way of taking stuff and multiplying it in just his magic. So he gave me this concept, and it wasn't me, because I am sitting crisping attuned to this, right? I am not the sharpest tool in the shed. It's one of the beautiful things when you understand that, though. If you're not the sharpest tool in the
Well,
shed,
no, I think we all have different skill sets.
My
Different
sponsor
skill
always
sets.
said, hey, Frankie, the tool shed always needs blunt hammers too. So, hey, I'll be the blunt hammer, right? I'm okay with that.
Just as long as everything doesn't look like a nail.
Exactly. Do you know Jeff, huh? Son of a bitch, man. He's hardcore. Anyways, so the concept that was given to me is basically what we were doing before. It's going to the auction. I happened to start my business career way back in the day. I was working down in Portland I was working in Denver for Continental Airlines. They go defunct. Alaska buys them. I go to Portland to PDX to help get that fired up. Go to school down there and put myself through school. And I get a phone call. This is before cell phones and all that shit. My mom, he says, hey, some guys stopped by here. They're looking for you. Understand your work, or you're in school down there. They want to talk to you. Start up a startup here in Seattle. Would you come up and interview for them? So I do that. And then years later, Costco took off big time. So I got to start with them at their get-goes. I can employ 100 and something, 128 or whatever it was. God's been stupid good to me. But the one thing I learned from that company, Costco, taught me to buy in bulk. I was one of their finance people. Buying in bulk. Same thing now with houses. If we buy houses, REO properties, or what they're called, they sell them in tapes, or a block of.
That's
like
right.
20 is the
And
smallest
you buy the
tape you
notes.
can buy.
But we're
You buy the whole note.
gonna time out on that one, because we're crossing into the next program.
Okay, so
we're
we'll
gonna
cross
time out
it
on
next
that
one.
one.
But get excited about this, because God gave us a way to get houses to people, all the working class, for 20% of what you earn.
And I know exactly
Like
what he's talking about, because trust me, I know a fella
glorious stuff.
I know a fellow who's going to remain nameless, but I've known him for years, and he's buying up tapes too. Okay, and they're doing it on the East Coast. But yeah, you can buy notes too. You buy the tape. But we're gonna get that next time, guys. Ben's welding right now. Larry's welding right now. I got 2 welders in this house, so if you guys need anything welded, you come here. We get it straight for you.
Damn.
And I do the videos for him. So he's making he's bought a new welder actually, and he got it on a sale for like $300. A nice little welder, and so he can do TIG, MIG, all of it. And they're out there. He's building his workbench right now. So he's been on it like since he got all the materials 2 days ago. Every time he gets home, he used to come home and just like you go upstairs to his room and sleep or something. Now he's out there with his shit, man. So it's all good. It's all good. Yeah, they built the shelves in the garage and everything. So I'm thankful for that too. So we're gonna let you go, folks.
Peace.
Peace.
Love, peace, and chicken grease.
There you go.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you,
Thanks,
John.
Frank.
See you soon.
Peace.
Take care.
I'll call you later.
All right.
Yeah, I got to roll.
Yeah, I know. I got shit to do too, man. It's all good. It's all good.
Have you got? Talk to you, buddy.
Yeah, his buddy's sick.